Welcome to this explainer. We're diving straight into a massive headache that keeps so many business owners tossing and turning at night. Your traffic, it looks fantastic on paper, but your sales team, they're literally just hearing crickets. You check your analytics, the numbers are completely green, and yet no one is actually knocking on the door. Let's figure out why. Picture this. You're checking your dashboard first thing in the morning. Organic traffic is climbing. You're ranking for those target keywords, and sessions are steadily ticking upward. But your contact form is completely empty. People are clicking, sure, but there are 0 submissions. Well, the good news here is that this problem is almost never just about the quality of your traffic. It's really about what happens in those critical, fleeting moments right after a user arrives.
Section 1. The high traffic trap. The gap between visitors and submissions.
Right, so here is the trap in plain sight. On one side, your analytics show traffic is surging. On the other, absolute silence in your CRM. 0 leads. This massive disconnect usually means your website is completely failing to answer a core question the very second a user arrives, creating a huge drop-off right at the finish line.
Moving on to Section 2. Unclear messaging kills conversions. You lose them before they scroll.
This is a big one. There's this constant tug of war between being clever and being crystal clear. A lot of brands love a cute, vague tagline, but honestly, visitors decide whether to stay or bounce in literal seconds. If you lead with a vague, quote-unquote, clever tagline instead of stating exactly what you offer and who it's for, you lose massive chunks of your traffic instantly. A visitor has to be able to instantly answer, what does this company do, and is it for me?
And look, if your site prioritizes looking good over actually converting, you're just burying the next step. Hiding your call to action under some generic stock photo or throwing a bunch of competing buttons at people completely paralyzes the user. Not because they aren't interested, but because you just haven't made the decision easy. Every single page needs one primary, incredibly obvious action. Just one. Which brings us to Section 3, poor UX and missing trust. The quiet killers of conversion. 4 seconds. Seriously, that is all it takes. A visitor clicks an ad or a search result, and if that page takes 4 seconds to load, or if the layout is jumping all over the place on their smartphone, boom, they're gone before they even see your offer. And the absolute worst part, you'll never see why in your lead numbers. It just gets lumped into traffic that didn't convert. Think about it. Traffic from searcher ads is mostly cold traffic. These are people who have never heard of you. So if they land on an outdated, template-heavy site, it quietly signals, hey, small operation, proceed with caution, even if you're actually an industry leader. Cold traffic demands immediate, undeniable proof that they can trust you before they're ever going to hand over their personal contact details. So, how do we fix this? You absolutely have to front-load visible proof. We're talking essential trust signals, case studies, recognizable client logos, authentic testimonials, and before and after results. And all of this needs to be wrapped up in a current professional design that instantly answers the visitor's internal question, can I trust this company?
All right, Section 4. Fixing the buyer journey, from a one-time project to a living funnel.
Be honest with yourself for a second. Does your contact page look like this? Because a lead form with 10 fields feels exactly like filling out a job application. If you're asking for too much too soon, every single extra box they have to type in becomes a direct tax on your conversion rate. And most on-the-fence visitors simply won't pay that tax. They'll just close the tab. The fix here is surprisingly simple, and it works wonders. You just need a high-converting minimum form. Ask for the absolute bare minimum needed to start a conversation. A name, an email, and maybe one single qualifying question. That is it. Remember, you can always grab the rest of the details later once the lines of communication are actually open. You know, a lot of businesses treat their website like checking a box. You build it, you launch it, and you move on. But a site that consistently converts, that is engineered entirely around what a visitor needs to see at each specific stage of their journey before they feel ready to reach out. You have to treat your website as a living, breathing funnel. Let's dive into Section 5. Turn traffic into leads, the ultimate solution for your leaky funnel. This is exactly where the conversion-focused team at SoftWin steps in. Leveraging 7 years in the web development market and over 250 completed projects, spanning everything from landing pages to full corporate sites, they build with the buyer's journey in mind right from the very first wireframe. They engineer digital structures specifically designed to move a visitor from just browsing to ready to talk. And what really sets their approach apart is how they look ahead. SoftWin actually tracks shifting AI-driven search behaviors. They understand how artificial intelligence is fundamentally changing what getting found even means as we barrel toward 2026. This ensures your site's architecture and content aren't just built for today, but are perfectly aligned for tomorrow's market.
So here's the main takeaway today. Please do not pour more budget into a leaky page. If your site is getting visitors but no leads, resist the urge to just go buy more traffic. If your analytics are cheering but your sales pipeline is crying, you must investigate this gap before spending another single dollar on ads. More visitors landing on a leaky page just means more people leaving unconverted, only faster.
You've already done the incredibly hard work of getting people to your digital front door. Now you actually need to welcome them in. It's time to clarify your message, simplify the path to action, and build an experience that proves your credibility in seconds. Because think about it, if your website isn't working for you while you sleep, who is it really working for? Turn your website traffic into real leads with SoftWin.